everyone, welcome back to another installment of the Film Me In podcast, where this week we're going to film you in marvellously, because we've got some marvelous things to marvelly things to marvel at.
Marvel about.
We're marveling at them. We're marveling about all of the marvels. We're talking about the Marvels, and we're also going to do a recap of Loki Season 2. Because, you know, we like it when people actually listen to our podcast. I'm your host, Xander, and with us this week, as always, we've got our wonderful pair of co-hosts. We have Joe.
Hello.
And we have Siwan.
Howdy.
Before we get into the main topic, though, of course, we have to tell me moan. So who wants to tell me moan first?
I could go, maybe.
Go for it, Joe. Tell me moan.
So, again, I've got two. So my first one is how DVDs and box set covers aren't as imaginative as they used to be, which is where I step in. There's just a lack of creativity nowadays. Like, for context, they announced a few months ago there was a upscale version of Series 1 to 4 of Doctor Who. And for months it's been on pre-order and everyone's been waiting for the cover. And we're all like, oh, what's it going to look like? It's going to look really cool. And then it got leaked at the time of recording yesterday, and it looks like trash. Like, no effort. I mean this in the best way possible. I don't think much effort has been put into it. You can't see the faces of the main characters. There's a big-ass rock in the front. I don't know what that's meant to be. Although I know why they've done that, so they don't have to add shadows to the feet, and they don't have to make it look like they're standing on the rock, so they're hiding their feet, which is really lazy. They've also got floating asteroids and a really weird TARDIS shot on the back. It's just, I wanted more. So that's one moan. My second moan is Doctor Who set reporters and how nosy and sort of in there they are. It's too much. Like, if you want to go to a day of filming, like, just, that's fine. Turn up, watch it, and leave. Don't go to every day of filming. Don't go to every location. Don't tweet out a schedule of where they're going to be a week from now, because that is too much. That shouldn't be the case for any film or TV show. Fans and other people should not be able to just turn up and know when they should turn up and where they should turn up, because that stuff should be confidential and private. And I think Doctor Who fans need to learn that.
I was actually... My dad saw your tweet about this.
Does he follow me?
No.
Okay.
But I liked your tweet.
He should.
So I told him that. I said, you should follow Joe.
Yeah.
And he was asking me about this. I was explaining it to him. And he was like, that's really weird and bizarre.
It is.
And I understand why Joe is unhappy about this. So.
And my notifications were filled with, oh, well, they announced this online on a casting call. I'm like, well, that's a casting call then. For actors, not for people to watch the filming. You silly billies. Yeah. And I've got people in my DMs explaining it to me as well. And I'm just ignoring it. I don't care. You are wrong. Don't turn up every day. It's creepy.
Yes, agreed. Siwan, do you have a moan for us?
No, I don't really have a moan.
That's fine. Pass. Pass. Right, okay, I'll go with my moan. My moan is my headphones. So I have a wonderful pair of headphones. They are Sony's. They were a little bit expensive.
Shameless plug.
And they are incredible audio-wise. In terms of audio, I have never had a better pair of headphones. It's wireless Bluetooth.
You've been paid to say this, son.
No,
There's a wire
sounds like
there.
We're sponsored.
I watch some Marcus Brownlee videos, you know, on YouTube, the tech guy who reviews all the tech stuff.
No,
he's like really famous. He was in that.
Well, clearly, he's not.
He was in that YouTube Rewind that everyone hated with Will Smith.
Oh, no one likes YouTube Rewind. So.
Anyway,
I don't watch YouTube.
But he reviews tech, and he says that these are the best headphones, and so I got them, and I agree, they're incredible headphones. I have one problem with them, and it's the touchpad on the side of the ear, on the side of the right ear. So it rains in England. And when it's cold, especially in like November and December, I have my hood up, and I like to have my big headphones on because they cover my ears, so that it's great sound, but also it keeps me warm and cozy. But with the trackpad on the side, I don't know what it is, but every now and then I think it's my hood, or it might just be the wind. that he's like scraping up against the side of the touchpad. And so if I'm walking to work and it's like gale force winds, really cold daggers of rain coming at me, I'm like trying to walk through it, and my track keeps changing back and forth, and it's the most infuriating thing. I would not wish it upon my worst enemy. I'll be listening to a podcast and I'll just be walking down the street, and then all of a sudden like a gust of wind will hit or some rain will hit, and suddenly I'm 45 seconds in the future and I'm like, what's going on? And then I try and go back, and then it just sends me further forward. And it's... I was on the phone to Joe this week.
I was gonna say.
And I had my headphones on and I had my hood up, and it kept hanging up on him.
I was mid-conversation and then it just ended. It kept happening as if like, okay, I get you don't want to talk to me, Xander.
I called you. But then but then I had to make a choice. Do I want to keep my ears warm? Like, do I want to keep myself dry and have this keep hanging up, or do I just let myself get wet and carry on talking on the phone to Joe?
What'd you do?
So you let yourself get wet?
And so I just kept hanging up on Joe for a while.
Yeah. Strangely, whenever I started a sentence as well.
It was genuinely... I talked for like a full 5 minutes. I'd go on a big rant, and then Joe would breathe in and it'd cut him off. It's really...
Maybe my breath was coming through. That's what activated it.
That's what it was, you stinky breath.
The dagger of wind, as you called it, Xander.
The dagger of wind, yeah. Right, I guess we'll move on then.
Yes, please.
So, the main topic of this week is, of course, some Marvel things. So, first of all, we're going to talk about the Marvels. We're going to do a non-spoiler section, and then we're going to do a spoiler review. We will put all the time codes in the description, don't worry. Then, we're going to talk about Loki Season 2 in non-spoilers, and then spoilers. Again, time codes will be in the description. First of all, though, the big movie release this week was, of course, The Marvels. It's a direct sequel to Captain Marvel that we got in 2019. That movie blew up at the box office, making over $1.3 billion just before Endgame. And, that was Disney's huge year, 2019. So this one came out in the UK on the 10th of November. It cost a staggering $270 million.
That's quite a lot.
And so far, it has made worldwide, as of recording, 109 million.
Ah, no.
Hang on, let me just double check that number. Let me just double check that number.
Yeah, it's not finished yet. It could have a really good weekend coming up.
We can't really do that because remember with Elemental, it came out and it had a really shit opening, and then all of a sudden it made millions. Like just even you turn around and it had the money.
Elementals was still a flop. It still lost Disney a whole. It still lost Disney a lot of money. It just wasn't as bad as it seemed at first. But that also had the entire summer to go through and keep picking up gas and keep picking up. It also didn't open everywhere in the world at once. It staggered its opening around the world, and so it kept building things up. This movie, it's a huge Marvel movie. Pixar movies as well recently have been going straight to Disney Plus, and so people aren't used to seeing in the cinemas as they used to. You saw that with Lightyear. Lightyear cost just as much money as Elemental and completely flopped because it was on Disney Plus within a month. This is a Marvel movie, MCU, full 4 quadrants. This is aimed at literally everyone on the planet, and it's made $100 million in its opening weekend worldwide. That is not good. Like, I know there's a lot of people out there who are rooting against this and are saying, like, who are celebrating that this is bad. This isn't a good thing for anyone. Not for Disney, not for Marvel, not for Kevin Feige, and not for the industry as a whole, because this flopping is a really bad sign.
2 points. One, it was very cold and windy when it came out, so maybe people were deterred from coming out to go watch it.
Hang on, we're not doing a Morbius thing here. We were all busy that weekend. That's why it flopped. We're not doing that.
Everyone was just busy. And number 2, it came out during a weekday. People are at school and at work.
It came out on a
it's
Friday.
only just been the weekend. I watched it on Thursday. No, wait, I watched it on Friday.
Yeah, it came out on Friday. That's the weekend.
We can't forget the strikes, though. And I'm not just saying that as an excuse, because I saw something on Twitter that said, like, just before, they showed like, how many times Brie Larson's name got searched within a week. And basically, the moment she was on the talk show, like, that Friday after the strikes ended, her, like, how many times her name was Googled was, like, 100 times more. Like, we can't forget how the strikes has actually fucked this up. Because it just shows
absolutely,
how much...
Absolutely.
All this film has had is trailers and a poster. There's been, like, there's no promotional campaign with the actors going to, like, events and press stuff. So they can't promote the film properly either.
Absolutely.
Like, a lot of people probably didn't even know it came out. I had to ask Siwan, when's the film out?
By the way, I feel like you guys are attacking me for telling you the information. And I'm literally just reading out the information. I've not made it up. I promise.
We're just trying to find, like, a different way around it, because, you know.
But yeah, you're absolutely right, Siwan. The strike... the strike is really
Xander, you should have donated 100 million to this film to make it reach its budget.
You should have gone to see it 100 times.
Damn it!
Like that guy. Have you seen the meme of that
Where
guy?
is he?
134
Brie Larson.
times.
Who is he? And where is
We
he?
need him
He needs to
now.
come back.
He must have been busy. He must have been washing his hair. Yeah. So Siwan is absolutely right. The strike is really important in this whole conversation. When you're talking about things making money recently, the strike is a huge factor in that. And it may well be that by the time this has come out, the second weekend has happened, and this movie actually held really well. Because in the second weekend is normally like a 60% drop off, because most people rush out to see it the first weekend, and then it drops. But for comic book movies, it's like 60, maybe 70%. This could have a really good hold, because like Siwan said, if one appearance on a talk show and Brie Larson is suddenly really popular on Google searches again, maybe people have just not realised that this was coming out and are like, oh man, we need to go and see this. So it could be that this holds really well this weekend, but we don't have that information. So all we can do is look at the opening right now, and this is really poor. This is the worst Marvel opening, the worst MCU opening. And I would be, for the first time ever, I think, if I was Kevin Feige, I'd be slightly worried for my job. Is that an overstatement? Is that a bit too big of a statement? They're not
going to get rid of Kevin Feige. They're not going to do that.
I'd say give him a bit more. One film. Like, yes, there's been a few projects lately that have slightly flopped, but no, I don't think his job's in danger anytime soon, given everything else he has done over the past 15 years. I hope they take that into consideration.
And also, Loki came out the same day, and well, that was fucking great, to put it bluntly.
But it kind of doesn't matter, because the rumoured viewership for Loki is really low. Like,
yeah, but so is Doctor Who, and that's still good. That's lasted 60 years.
Wait, I've seen the complete opposite of its viewings. It's got the second highest
I swear it was like 11...
of anything this year.
Yeah.
The only thing that's gotten more is Mando, and that's because of the fucking little green baby.
Let me check.
There was nothing else good about season 3.
Oh wow, okay, no, that is actually really good. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Siwan. It's actually kept a really good viewing figures. It says it's the first episode was 10.9 million views, and the finale was 11.2, and it sort of kept that consistent viewing base. So that is actually quite good. I read something earlier that said it was bad. I'm not sure where that came from. I think it might have been talking about Ahsoka or something. I don't know. Or Secret Invasion, which I guess we'll have to mention later on. But anyway, back to the Marvels. So a disastrous opening. A historically disastrous opening. We'll talk about some of the numbers. It stayed fresh at the moment on 61% on Rotten Tomatoes, with a 5.9 average rating, which would really mean, if you're going off the average rating, it is actually rotten, but that's a whole other thing. And it's got an 84% audience score, which is kind of okay. On IMDb, it's sat at a 6.1, which I think puts it as the lowest one in the MCU.
Oh, better not be. There are worse films.
Secret Invasion has 6.0.
How is Thor: Love and Thunder higher?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Hang on, let me find Thor: Love and Thunder, because that would have been my question as well.
Or unless they haven't included it in the list because it's that bad.
Hang on, I'm hoping someone... Oh, here we go. MCU ranking. So the bottom 5 movies ranked on IMDb are The Incredible Hulk at 6.6, Eternals at 6.3, Thor: Love and Thunder at 6.2, and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania and The Marvels both tied at 6.1.
No fucking way.
What? No, Thor: Love and Thunder should be last.
Thor: Love and Thunder better than those films.
Only by 0.1.
That's still a lot.
A 6 on IMDb ain't good either way. So yeah, a lot. I think it's safe to say, it's uncontroversial to say that people are divided on this movie. Because I've seen a lot of people come out in defense of this movie, but I think that's just because a lot of initial reaction was that it's terrible and the worst thing you will ever see. And so people have come out and said, well, it's actually quite, there are good things in this. I'm sure we all have our opinions. Who wants to start with theirs?
I will say, going into it, I didn't care much about the film going into it. I was just going in because, well, I was gonna go see it eventually, but mainly I rushed to see it because I wanted to avoid the spoilers that was going around. But yeah, I didn't particularly have any expectations for it going in. I just, was just going to see it, and I was actually pleasantly surprised by at least the first 2 acts. I thoroughly enjoyed the first 2 acts. The third one did kind of let it down, but there's things in the third act that I did enjoy. But I was pleasantly surprised by it, actually. I don't know if that's just because I didn't have expectations for it, but I'm one of those that will defend the film, I will say.
An interesting start. Joe, what do you think about this one?
I did the same as Siwan. I kind of went to see it as soon as I could because of spoilers, which we'll get onto later. But
yes.
I had no expectations for the film. I had not no interest, but no I wasn't hyping it up. Let's just say that. So I saw it and I just sat there and watched it. And I don't know if it's because of my viewing experience, which I probably shouldn't mention in the podcast, but I don't know if that affected it. But I sort of sat there, I was like, okay, it's okay, but I'm not feeling a lot watching this. I think the first and second act are pretty alright. The third act is just your stereotypical Marvel, But I don't completely hate it. I think that's unfair to say. I think there's a lot of creativity in this. There's a lot of love that's definitely gone into it. I love that the costumes are all physical. There's no nanotech in sight.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant. I think all 3 of the leads do a great job. I really like Captain Marvel, which is probably weird for a man to say that because men are sexist, but I think no, seriously though, I think she's really good in this. I think this is her best appearance. She's very charming. Miss Marvel is probably the standout. She has great chemistry with all of them, and I want more of her in the MCU. The villain didn't really do anything for me. I can't even remember her name. So
I have forgotten it. I looked it up earlier today to make a point to someone, and I'm still gonna have to look it up again.
It's Darben, I
but
think.
It was Darben.
But
sorry.
Yeah, it wasn't the worst, but it was, I wanted a bit more from it.
Okay, I guess I was the most negative on this. I thought there was just a lot of wasted potential here. I thought the movie kept raising some really interesting concepts and themes and questions, and then just had the most timid way of going about things, and would just either completely gloss over things or just forget them. I think it's a movie that was butchered in the editing room. This might have some of the worst editing I've seen in a long time. Really poorly edited in terms of some action sequences really poorly edited. Some like conversations, just like 2 shots. I feel like the editing all round was really poor on this. Iman Vellani though, oh my goodness, I love her. I love her very much. I actually like, yeah, I love her. If you're out there, Iman, please give me a call. Please. It's really nice over here in Manchester. Please. I think the action is shot mostly really well. There's an action sequence towards the start that you see in a lot of the trailers that involves a lot of the body swapping that we get to see a lot of in the trailers as well. And that's a really fun concept. You know, the body swapping stuff, that's really fun. And there are good moments with that, but also I don't think it's taken far enough. Overall, like, I just walked out deflated. I walked out of it and I was like, oh, that was it, okay. And listen, I'm a big Marvel fan. I know it doesn't sound like it because I moan a lot about a lot of these things, but like, I really like these silly little movies. And I like it when they take risks. And this one, it seems like it took a few risks. Like, going into it, I'm like, okay, this, you know, it's going to be 3 female leads. It's a big risk in the fact that you've got to kind of sort of bone up on your MCU lore to understand most of it, because you've got to watch 3 separate TV shows to sort of get involved in these characters. And then you've got, I mean, Captain Marvel has somehow become a controversial lead character. I don't think anyone expected that to happen, but in the world, Brie Larson, I don't know, I can't even remember what she did to a lot of like male comic book fans, but they all hate her. I was gonna say, I swear she said something. I swear she said something, and people are just really upset about it.
I think she said something about this film called A Wrinkle in Time, which I don't like. That's the only thing I know.
I really like Brie Larson. I've seen her in a lot of things. I think she's really cool, and I think but I do think she's kind of wasted in these movies. She's I don't know what the character of Captain Marvel is meant to be. Is she stoic? Is she supposed to be charming and fun? Because she seems to be putting across a lot of different things. She seems to be like slightly cheeky, but can you guys explain to me what her character is? Because I don't actually know.
I think this is just me spitballing, but. Is that the phrase?
Yeah, it is.
Maybe it's the sort of thing where she puts up that sort of hard defense because she's sort of, you know, she's lost her memories and she's been betrayed by people in the past. She doesn't want to let the people in, which is why she's a bit abrasive, or not abrasive, but like, there are moments when she kind of raises her voice. Yeah, she's short with the other 2 main leads in this.
So, but that's it. I think that is a big problem with this. When you don't, I was kind of hoping that this would be a movie that focused on Carol Danvers and Captain Marvel, but just had the other 2 as supporting cast members. But
I think if that was the case, though, they would have called it Captain Marvel 2.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. You're absolutely right. Because, my problem with that is that, like I said, I still don't know who this. What this character is like on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I can imagine, after the first Captain America movie, exactly how Steve Rogers would go and do grocery shopping. I know exactly how he would walk into Asda. And I know exactly how Tony Stark would walk into Asda. And I know exactly how Thor would walk into Asda.
He'd buy Asda, probably.
I don't know how Carol Danvers would go shopping.
He wouldn't go to Asda.
That's a really weird analogy. That's a really, really weird analogy, but I think you know what I mean.
No, I get it. Yeah.
Yes, and sort of know if you can do a really cheeky response as to say she doesn't know who she is herself. If you can put that as a really, you know, that's a loophole, but it works. She said herself in this one, she's trying to get her memories back to figure out who she is. I think she's still trying, because like when she's stoic, you know, say in Endgame, she's stoic in that one. Well, she knows what she needs to do. she's standing up against Thanos, and that's where she's confident about it. In this, when she's doing the fighting, she's fine, but when obviously she's around Monica, that's a whole thing where it's set up in the first one. I do think it should have gone into it more in this one. That could have been divulged a bit more, that relationship. But she's unsure herself how to do that. So, like, if we are also like, okay, she doesn't know how to react, then that's why we don't know how to react. But she as a character, is trying to figure out herself.
She said herself as well. She hasn't had any sort of mentor. She's been on her own on this ship of hers. She hasn't had anyone to talk to about it. So these two come along, and she's probably a bit confused what to do around them. Oh yeah, and Goose. There's moments with Goose I want to talk about later. But yeah, I think that's my main problem with her. Then you've got Ms. Marvel, who was really, really well introduced in her show, and I think continues that here. I just don't think there's enough for her to do here. I think that there could have been more.
There's not much they can.
There could have been more development with her. I think they sort of teased some sort of development, and were just like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. Come on, this is a fun movie. And then Monica Rambeau, I think, is the biggest victim in this editing process, because there have clearly been so many scenes of hers cut out. In the action sequence I mentioned earlier, the one where they're all body switching, there is a full, 2 sections of that fight sequence that she just isn't in. She just disappears for, a huge chunk of it. And I'm like, when are they going to cut back to Monica? Where's she? I'm just where she's meant to be fighting some people. And then she comes back a full 2 minutes later. I'm like, oh, right, there she is. Oh, I knew there were 3 people here. Really bizarre. There's some other things, like they go to a specific planet later on that we'll talk about more in spoilers. And I just don't think that's taken far enough with the concept that they have.
Oh, yeah, they should have really, gone over the top with that. They should have really exploited that concept. Because, having that in a Marvel movie, you have, to be vague, you have that in other TV shows sometimes.
Yeah.
Have that in this, and it's like, oh, that's so cool. And you've got, you've got 3 leads to, do it as well.
Yeah.
But it's just... Yeah, really understated.
Yeah, which is a really poor decision.
I have a big problem with this film.
Go for it.
Oh, I know what it is.
The music is so boring and so bland. I can only name one bit of music from it. And you know what's really annoying? They don't use Captain Marvel's theme at all. There is no musical continuity in this whatsoever, apart from 2 seconds of Miss Marvel's theme towards the end. But that's it. And it's so annoying because I believe that a movie is only as good as its music. That is my belief. And if a film doesn't have good music, I'm not going to be as invested in it. Music brings it all together. It weaves a path through the film for the viewer, and it just didn't. I couldn't. They released the main theme before the film, and if they do that, I always listen to it because I want to get a sneak peek at it. And I listened to it, and I was like, okay, this is a bit generic, but hopefully there'll be some more themes in there, but there just wasn't. And there's no musical continuity at all. I don't even know if the villain had a theme. It's that bad. There was nothing recognisable at all, apart from one track near the end. But that's something else.
Yeah. Should we mention Zoe Ashton's Darben?
Zarwin.
Is that her name?
Honestly, just the most forgettable. Forgettable.
We thought Ronin was bad.
It is a shame because Zawe Ashton is really good, and then it's just with Darben, there is some bits, but then they just didn't take it far enough again.
That's exactly it. It's movie cowardice. That's what they've done here. They've made a movie simply out of fear that they're not going to make a good one. And I would much rather see a big swing and a miss like Eternals. Eternals I thought was boring as hell, but at least it was a swing. It was an attempt at something different. But this is... It's not even an attempt. It's not even an attempt, mate. They've got a really class director in Nia DaCosta. She's a really talented director, and you can tell. but then they just do nothing. They don't let her run. Why hire these really cool directors, these up-and-coming directors that have exciting back catalogues of work, and then not let them run wild and create something cool? They've given her $270 million, and then they've just put her on a leash and been like, oh no, you have to do this exact thing now.
I think that like, as forgettable as the villain was, I think there are points where I can't remember the actress's name, but I think there are points where she is a bit terrifying. There are bits where you can tell she's giving it her, like, this is no slight against her. She is giving it her all. She just hasn't got something interesting to work with.
She's a good actress.
There's a bit in the third act, like how she uses one of her weapons, and that's really scary.
Yeah, there is. There absolutely is. There is a moment. I know exactly what moment you're talking about.
But her motive again is sort of, it's one of those where you're like, oh wait, so are they a bad guy, or maybe we should be helping them and not, shouldn't be bad?
It's literally something, again, that could have been solved in a conversation. And that almost was solved in a conversation.
Oh yeah, and there's like, no, I have to be bad now.
Yeah. Just really silly.
I like the cat stuff. Being vague, I like the cat stuff.
I have thoughts about the cat stuff as well.
I think it easily could have been oh look, we have cats in this film, how cute, let's put them on all the posters. But I like how they're used in this film. I think it's very clever, and I think it's one of the probably most creative things about this film. I just sat there like, this is great. I know where this is going, and it's great.
I have thoughts and opinions on this that may upset you, but I guess we'll save it for later.
You of all people shouldn't be the one who hates the cats. I'm allergic to them and I like them.
Right, are we ready to talk spoilers?
Yeah, because we're just being vague now, and that's not really good.
We are being really vague, and there's not much else to say about it because it's a boring.
I like the bit with that
movie.
person when they did that thing.
Before we do we want to give this a score out of 10? Because I know you guys like that. So, Siwan, we'll start with you. What would you give this out of 10?
So I was talking to Joe about it, and he gave like the same rating on Letterboxd, but for different reasons, if that makes sense. So it was really complicated. But I'll give it like a. And this is like a positive one, but like I can still see the issues of the film, so I'm gonna give it like a 6.5-ish.
A 6.5.
I said I liked the film. I see the issues, but I had things that I liked about it.
6 point. That's crazy, you know. Okay.
I thought you were gonna go higher based on what you were saying to me, but okay.
Well, yeah, but I was basing it on you, and then you gave it a high one yourself, and I was like, well, but I don't think it is that high of a film itself. Like, I enjoyed good bits of it.
Siwan, as a woman who enjoys superhero movies, you should expect more from your superhero female-driven movies.
No.
That didn't land as well as I thought it would.
I don't think C1 has ever turned around to us and gone, you should expect more from your men-driven movie. Which is basically every movie, unfortunately.
Exactly, which is why you should expect more from your female-led movies.
Because they're so rare, C1.
They're so rare.
Barely happen.
You only get like 2 a year. And at least Barbie was
if you're lucky.
That's it. That's your lot this year.
That had men in as well.
Barbie did have men in it as well. So really, that's our movie. Okay, Joe, what would you give this out of 10?
I would give this a 6, which isn't too far away from C1's, but
he's got different reasons.
Yeah, I'll give it a 6. I didn't think it was terrible, but I wanted more from it. There's clearly a lot of creativity gone into it, even if it probably has been messed around in the edit room, and it's probably not the most creatively directed, but maybe on a rewatch I'll enjoy it more because I won't be disturbed in my cinema.
A 6 is crazy, you know.
It's crazy, but it's my opinion, Xander. If you don't like it, leave the server right now.
6 is crazy.
You're crazy.
I gave this a failing grade on my Letterboxd scoring system, and I gave it a 3.5.
No,
I've rounded it up to 2 stars. just for Letterboxd, but 3.5 for me. This was.
It's more than
there was
that.
so much wasted potential.
Oh, you're such a
here.
man.
And so much wasted potential here, and I feel like listen. There's a lot I can go into in spoilers that I would have done different, that could have been done differently, that just takes things a little bit further. And I think I had a lot of story issues as well. The movie's story is so bland.
Paint by numbers,
incredibly paint by numbers. Right, okay, we're gonna head into the spoiler section. If you have not seen this movie and do not want to be spoiled on it, and if you somehow haven't already been spoiled by Twitter or other movie reviewers, then
or the trailers,
then go away, go watch the movie, come back and listen to the spoiler section, or even just skip ahead to the Loki bit because the time codes are in the description. But we're going into the spoiler section starting now. Spoilers. Okay, right. So we had some pretty beastly post-credit scenes.
Oh, because Beast was in it.
Oh yeah, because Beast was in it from the X-Men. What a weird choice. Also, my comment last week, I made a comment about someone who posted a review on Twitter before the embargo dropped about the movie, and it said the tweet said, "Get ready for a fun time at the cinema, and make sure you stay for some excellent post credits."
Oh, for God's sake!
And it was just a big X. I was like, "Are you good,
stupid?
bro?" I already knew what was coming because it was leaked months ago, so I knew what was coming.
Was it?
Yeah. I saw this
rumor
months
for
ago
months.
that Kelsey Grammer was going to be in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea.
That's great for you. That's really great for you. But yeah, this guy on the Tuesday before the movie comes out, yeah, get ready for some excellent surprises. It's like, are you all right, mate? Are you good? Come on, that's ridiculous.
That wouldn't.
As well as
How
that,
dumb does he think people is?
as well as that, the trailer had like X highlighted,
Yes.
and they put a shot from the post-credit scene in the trailer.
Yes.
What? We are not Sony, Marvel. Do not do this.
What's going on? What is going on? That final trailer as well they released spoiled Valkyrie's cameo and spoiled the entire ending to the movie. Because at no point during the rest of the movie does she rip a hole in space and time. It is the final act she does as a villain. She blows up.
It literally shows the shot of her exploding.
It creates the rip in space and time, and that is the final moment of the movie. What is going on? What is going on?
They really need to fix their trailers.
Before we get back to the post-credits, I'm confused how that works, because I swear it was said that the holes only led to different bits of space, but now it's ripped a hole to another reality? Huh?
Because she, instead of creating them, she had all the power. So she just blew up, and so the power was so massive that it tore a hole in space and time. It makes sense. In spacey-wacy things, it makes sense.
I also think it's such a weird way to introduce the X-Men, in that, one, it's a post-credit scene. Two, Beast he's completely CGI, basically. He's not.
Yes.
It's not.
Not
even
basically,
though the actor,
just is.
Even though the actor has aged, you could hide that with physical makeup.
Being blue.
It would have been better for. It would have been better for Miss Marvel to go over there, because they hinted that she was a mutant in her own show. I just don't get it. It was a really weird choice, and she didn't really seem too phased about seeing her mum again.
No, I think that was a really good moment. She sees her mum again. She really panics. Yeah.
Oh, was she? Oh, I've forgotten. But
Jesus.
but when Beast
It's
came
one of
up,
the
I was like,
best
oh,
scenes
it's...
Teyona does.
Yeah.
Okay, but I didn't really feel much when he popped up, and I had a couple of people in my cinema cheering, but it wasn't. It was more screeching than cheering, like ah! That was what I heard when he popped up, and I just sort of sat there and crawled into a ball and cringed. I'm like, oh no, oh
yeah. It was just like, I don't know, man. I don't know what they're doing over there. I really don't know what they're doing over there. This is a really weird post-credit scene. And the CG don't look great. It don't look great. And
the film also ends with another post-credit scene, but it's not a
It was
post-credit scene. It's
absolutely
just the end of the film.
I told you both.
That was the thing you saw.
That
Yeah,
was the
you
thing
did
I
say
saw.
too.
That's absolutely a post-credit scene, and also the fact that why is it a mid-credit scene and not a post-credit scene? There is no post-credit scene, and it's because they don't think they can get people to stay anymore. Marvel don't have the juice anymore. They're having to do what Morbius did and have their post-credit scenes in the middle of the trailer, in the middle of the credits even, not the trailers, in the middle of the credits, and not after the credits. They don't have the juice anymore, and it's really sad.
But we did get Haley Steinfeld, which is a big plus.
Yes, we did.
But can everyone shut up now? You've got your Young Avengers. You could stop asking for it now. Just shut up.
Shut up.
Every time they introduce a young superhero, oh, where's the Young Avengers? They're setting up the Young Avengers. They're doing it now. You can stop. They're doing it. Are you happy now?
it.
If it wasn't,
Let a man cook.
if it wasn't incredibly obvious before, guys, we are getting the Young Avengers.
I think we're getting it, guys. I think they were hinting at it a bit.
Yeah, if you stay till the end of the movie, that you might find out that they're
that's
doing
an
it.
Easter egg.
But that's it. It's
An
not.
Easter egg you might
It's
miss.
not.
Easter egg in the movie.
It's
the last 2 minutes of the movie.
It's not even like. But that's it. They've got this. They're clearly setting up Young Avengers, and that's great. Whatever. But there's nothing on the schedule. The schedule's full until 2026, 2027. Like, when the hell are they gonna make and release this show, movie, whatever it's gonna be? When are they gonna make this? Because everyone's gonna be super old by then.
To be fair, I don't.
Presumably they're thinking, oh yeah, they'll you know, the next time we see them on will be in the next Avengers movies. But those aren't Young Avengers movies. Those are Avengers movies.
Yeah.
So you can't develop
Maybe
that team whilst focusing on everyone else.
No, you can't.
What are you doing? Stop setting up so much stuff. Stop setting up the X-Men when we haven't even done the other stuff yet. Stop doing Young Avengers when we haven't done the other stuff yet.
I think with the X-Men was a bit more of a, oh, we need to do something, because the next film is Deadpool. That does include the X-Men. So, well, at least Wolverine. So, like, that one was in need of happening. And I as much as it's, like, a bit of a meh way to do it, it is a way to introduce that universe. So, you know, I'll give them that. It's a way to do it. They did it. And it gives us now a way into Deadpool. And I'm assuming Monica's going to be in it. If she's not, that's just stupid.
Well, that's it. We're not sure what universe that is, because obviously it's Kelsey Grammer, but Kelsey Grammer was a person and never that big when he was in the. Well, I mean, he was only in 2 X-Men films, but then also the character that Lashana Lynch plays at the end, Binary. She was never in the films. She was never in the Fox Marvel movie, so it's not the Fox universe. It's also not the animated universe, because that looks like Beast from the animated movie, the animated series, but that is its own separate universe because they're carrying that on as a show. So this is an entirely different universe, and it's also an entirely different universe from the one that Charles Xavier was killed in by Wanda in Multiverse of Madness, because he mentions that Charles is about, and Charles gets offed in that movie. So.
Oh wait, did he mention Charles? I didn't hear that.
Yeah. He said, "I'll go get Charles."
Were you listening?
I didn't hear the word Charles. I didn't hear it.
You actually need to start listening in movies, because I'm getting worried about you.
That was something that intrigued me. So I was like,
to fix their audio.
That was clear as day.
I want to talk about the Musical Planet.
I liked it.
Let's talk about the Musical Planet.
It was funny.
Right. Really fun concept. Really great creative concept. They don't do anything with it. Okay? The things they could do with it: have a big musical number, have a big dance number. They do neither of those. They have Brie Larson sort of quietly singing a little bit. Brie Larson, by the way, can sing. We've seen her do it.
She's stunning at singing.
Different things. She's really great. Her version of Black Sheep from the Scott Pilgrim versus the World soundtrack.
I knew you were going to mention Scott Pilgrim.
It's so good.
I completely forgot where she'd sung before, and you said that. I was like, oh, of course. How could I forget that?
How can you forget
listen,
that?
there is no way that Tiona Paris and Iman Vellani cannot hold a tune enough for this movie. So get them. Why not, instead of they only converse in it. Maybe when they land, there's something around the atmosphere that makes you sing.
Like it changes them. They have to sing,
and so they have to sing.
They have to sing in battle. The villain sings at them.
Exactly. How much
That's
fun
so
would
cool.
that be? How much fun would that be? Also, then when they fight, instead of just fighting like normal people, what if it's like more choreographed? What if it's you dance fight? And then
you could make it funny as well. Like,
exactly, that
I'm gonna kill you. No, you're not. Like that sort of thing.
That seems like a lot of fun. That seems like you could do so many fun things with that, and they do nothing with it because that guy just starts talking normally. He's like, "Oh, right,
But
okay,
he's
so we don't
bilingual.
actually need to do this."
Oh yeah. Apparently, he's quite a famous actor, but I've never seen him before.
He is. He's a famous Korean actor, and they marketed him loads in the trailers for worldwide trailers, and he's in 2 scenes. And it's so scummy. It's so incredibly scummy. But also, that feels like that relationship that he's alluded to, that Captain Marvel is a princess of this planet. That's a really fun concept. Again, nothing done with it because they've clearly cut so much out of this movie that they barely speak. And also, then when they go into battle, he shouts. He goes, "Ah!" That'd be 100 times better if he just went, "Ah!" That'd be so much better, wouldn't it?
Also, didn't they
don't
basically
take anything
have
far
to?
enough.
Didn't they basically have to leave the planet in the end for the others to destroy? She's the princess of that place, so shouldn't she be more sad? She's lost her kingdom in a way.
Yeah, they just leave it, and it's never spoken of again. It's never spoken of again for the rest of the movie.
I did like her dress.
Oh god,
her dress was cool, and
her so cool.
Her outfit, the costume they give her as well is very cool.
It's a bit faded though, I thought.
If it was slightly more red, I think it'd be perfect. But I do like it.
Wait, why didn't you like the cats?
Yeah.
You said about the cats. What are you gonna say about the cats?
What do you have against the cats?
Okay. So they find the egg, that first egg, and I immediately whispered to my dad and said, "Those are cats." I knew exactly as soon as I saw it.
Oh no, I thought the
cats.
villain had placed that there. I didn't think that.
I had no clue what it was.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, "Those are cats." But also, it's set up 5 minutes before it happened, before it all kicks off. I think if you'd seen them pop up earlier on, like no pun intended here, but seeded it slightly earlier in the movie, and had them keep like it being in background shots and more of them appearing, and you're like, hang on, what are these things? And then, because that's again something funny to be like, this is slightly more like silly movie to be like people just aren't noticing these amount of eggs, and then but no, it's 2 minutes. It's a very short amount of time. It's either 2 minutes or 5 minutes. It's between those lengths.
Well, I mean,
between
to be fair,
the first one being seen and then we discover what they are. It's like, what kind of? That's not a running joke. That's nothing at all. What? It's not that. It just loses all the momentum.
Well, to be fair, I don't think that.
The stuff with them actually consuming the people, though, I think was a great idea.
I think it's fun. I think that's perfectly fun. Perfectly
and they
fine
played
fun.
the song from the Cats musical over it.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Really
I think that's fine
film.
and fun.
Nah,
I don't, man. That thing awakened something in me, I swear.
Yeah,
I mean, what? Anyway, yeah, I think that's a fun moment, but I think by that point I just kind of like lost faith in it, that I couldn't enjoy it as much, because it is a fun moment, and like quite funny how they're chasing people down with these cats, and there's a moment that woman hides around a corner and looks to her left and there's 2 cats there. That's really funny. That's really funny.
So was it I don't know if it was me being stupid as usual, but like I did not know that the eggs were to do with the cats. But didn't they also say the eggs sort of were the cause of the spaceship crashing, or not? It stopped working because of the eggs?
Oh yeah, no, I think they were in like a mainframe, weren't they? All the eggs were in a mainframe or something.
So they caused it. I thought it would have been like, wouldn't it have been better to like they're just there, and the villain causes it, and they're like, oh, hang on, we can use the cats.
Sorry,
the cats have caused it, and now they're exactly Goose has caused this. So Goose has done more damage to Sword than the villain. I mean, Nick Fury doesn't meet Darben or whoever it is at all this entire movie.
I have a question as well. A lot of complaints I've seen about this movie are about Sam Jackson and his character in this movie and how fun he is, because he's a really fun character in this, and he's clearly having a lot of fun on set and gets to play around a lot. But the main complaints I've heard is that this is a complete 180 of his characterization in Secret Invasion.
Yeah, well, that's Secret Invasion. That was shit.
Where he's like a morally grey figure.
Secret Invasion's kind of like an outlier though, because they don't even mention or bring up Ben Mendelsohn's character in this. Surely Captain Marvel would be a bit sad that
Talos has died.
one of the people she knows is now Talos is dead.
I can't believe they did that in a show that no one watched. I can't believe they did that.
And they didn't even like do anything with it.
You have Ben Mendelsohn and you do that to him. How dare you?
You haven't been talking to the cops, have you? You haven't been talking to the Skrulls, have you, mate?
Hello, Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah, you haven't been talking.
I love you in all those movies you're in. Batman needs his muesli bar.
You never see Batman eating a little muesli bar.
Muesli bar.
You've got to keep your strength up. Oh, you'll get tired. Have you packed your lunch, Master Bruce? I don't want a little muesli bar, Alfred.
So you're telling me the whole time Carol could have restarted their son and didn't find out to the third act that she could have done this?
Oh my god, one conversation, whole movie.
Oh wait, I can do that? Yeah, if you believe, you can do it. Okay, I'll go do it then.
If you believe.
Oh wait, no, sorry. The villain overheard this conversation and still wants to kill us. But no, you need her to do it. No, sorry, we're still going to kill her. But you need it. No, we're going to kill her. What?
But that moment she has with the hammer, she's got it up against Ms. Marvel's head. That did freak me out. I was like, no, get that away right now.
Not her, not
Her.
Kamala.
Don't you do it. No, we are so gonna get a moment like Peter Parker in Infinity War where she is like not killed but like gets really injured and we're all gonna like go crazy.
I don't want to go.
Yeah, no, because she's precious.
And man is so good.
She sacrificed herself for Captain Marvel in a future film. That's gonna happen.
Oh my gosh, she would though. No, she would. Oh no, Kamala. I saw somebody complain that Kamala's constant like loving for Captain Marvel was too much.
I do exactly the same.
Everybody else I saw on Twitter was like, oh, okay, but like Peter Parker doing it for Tony's fine. People just have like, why are you complaining about something that you've never complained about when it's happened to another character? But once it's Kamala, God forbid. If you're gonna complain, be consistent about your complaining.
That's it, man. That's just consistent. That's all we want as movie critics is consistency.
Do you know what was really off-putting with this film as well? How it basically started with a load of flashbacks, and it's like, oh, okay, I don't remember some of this. Like, even though I've watched the TV show, yeah, pretty much.
Oh, I remembered all of it.
Oh, no, that's the thing, though. Even though I'd watched it, I was like, okay, I've seen all this, but even then, that's a lot to take in, you know?
Oh, right, yeah.
I mean, yeah, they've got to fill everyone in on who these other two characters are that people might not know who are. And I do kind of appreciate how they acknowledge that she got her powers from a witch's hex. I think that's real fun. Because that is exactly, if I got superpowers that way, that is exactly how I would tell people how I got them. Yeah, a witch gave me the powers. A witch's hex.
A witch.
Yeah, sorry.
I will say, I don't know if...
Sorry, I was just going to say she needs to stop going up and touching things. Like, that's what she did in WandaVision. She got the powers. She went up to that force field and got sucked through it. She needs to stop.
I don't know if this is me being cynical, but I'm not a fan of the trend of, oh, you haven't got a superhero name. We're going to keep giving you lots of options throughout this movie. And they don't even give her a name in the end.
Isn't her name in the comics Proton or something?
Yeah, I think it's Photon.
Photon,
Monica.
I half expected when she starts to glow at the end, someone's going to go like, you look like a photon, and then, I don't know, something like that would happen. You are the Marvels.
Yeah, she's called Photon. The character is Photon. So I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that moment, but it never came.
Yeah, we don't even know her superhero name, which is weird.
She doesn't want one. Monica wants to be Monica.
Tiana Paris is so pretty. Oh my god.
She is. The three of them are
so pretty. All three of them are. It's so unfair. It's so unfair.
It was just like, oh, this is lovely.
I was a big fan. of the white tank top. I thought that was probably the best part of this movie.
The white tank top.
MVP of the movie was the white tank top.
No, literally, I thought that was great. I thought that was a great addition to her character.
Yeah, Joe, who's a sexist man now? God.
I'm appreciating fashion.
For God's sake.
Appreciating a woman's wardrobe.
I'm appreciating.
It really accentuated her personality. So
stop talking.
Right. Is there anything else we want to mention about this movie? Because I'm kind of tired about it.
We've said a lot of bad stuff, haven't we? Let's say some good stuff about this movie.
I thought the action, like I said, was shot pretty well for the most part. Except for the third act. I thought the third act didn't look as good. That first fight that's happening in Ms. Marvel's house is really fun because people keep coming in and out. I think that was really fun, and I love Kamala's family.
I love.
Oh, they're great.
I love the family. They're great fun.
I love the moment when they're in that escape pod going back to Earth, and it starts to crash. And the brother starts to pray, and he stops, and like Nick Fury's like, no, don't stop, amen.
Amen.
That was really funny.
That was funny.
I liked when Kamala said, "Oh, Captain, my Captain," and Monica just gave her like a really concerning look. But like that would be me.
I think we saw the same tweet. I think someone said it was one "Oh, Captain, my Captain" too far.
No, it wasn't.
Was it?
It was not enough.
I disagree. I thought she was great fun all the way through.
She was.
I liked the
good.
reference to that Disney trailer that was on all the DVDs. You know, the "We have our heading."
We have our heading.
I like that.
Here we go.
It
had such a lot of like little quips like that I adored.
Yeah, there were quite a few moments that I chuckled at. See, you guys are probably gonna think I'm terrible for giving it a 3.5 and being so down on it, but like. The story was so non-existent, and so many of the things were just cut off entirely. Like we talked about earlier, Kamala, how she's like how Brie Larson is a little bit short with her, and it's because they're on that planet with the Skrulls, and Carol Danvers just says to her, "Save who you can, and we go." And she looks at her like with this disbelief, like, "Hang on, you're like the best hero in the galaxy. What do you mean we're not going to save everyone? What do you mean?" And that's that disillusionment. And I feel like there could have been something really interesting there where she's like, "What? I've just met my hero and she's not who I thought she was." And her trying to then get to know her as a person instead of this mystical figure. But then immediately in the next scene, she's like, "Sorry about that. Hi, by the way." And she's like, "Oh my god. And like that stuff, like, I like her personality, like Kamala's personality, and that is how she would react. But also, I'd like to see something a bit more like, emotional.
3-dimensional.
From this. 3-dimensional. That's exactly what it is. I would like to see something more 3-dimensional.
I was a big fan of it was in Kamala's house, and I think the fight is either it's going on or it's just finished. And Monica's in there and she's like, "Oh, I got my powers." And Kamala's mom's like, "I'm really happy for you. Now where's my daughter?" I was like, the delivery of that line was like, it was so like calm and funny, and it was like, "But where's my daughter?"
Yeah, she's great. I really like Kamala's mom. She's really great. In the show as well, she's really great.
Oh, I like the cartoon sequence at the start. That was cool because it was like the show.
Yes, exactly. Absolutely, exactly. Yes, that was a really big moment for me. I saw that and I was like, "This is great fun. This is exactly what the show needed more of." Because there was a point in the show when that just stopped. There were like three.
It was once it was directed by someone else.
Yeah, exactly. But it was nice that they brought those back.
What are our thoughts on Valkyrie being in it?
They are so gay for each other. They are so. That is exactly. They have so done it.
That is exactly
good for them.
What a cinematic universe is capable of. Just having these moments, just these tiny moments to show that it's interconnected. Because of course these characters would keep in touch and they would have these little moments. And so, yeah, absolutely. Why not have Valkyrie come and visit Captain Marvel and just have that small moment? It just expands the universe a little more and lets you know that everything out there is still going on. That's absolutely perfect and a really great use of Tessa Thompson. It's a shame it was spoiled in the trailer, but whatever.
I will say, I really don't like Tessa Thompson's accent. I haven't since
No.
Ragnarok. Something about it bugs me.
Is it because she's not really British?
It's just a bad accent.
Is she putting on a British accent then? Because I can't pinpoint
She's
it.
American.
Is she putting
What
on
do you
a
mean
British?
you can't
Just
pinpoint
asked,
it?
Is she putting on a British
All
accent?
right.
Joe, it's so bad.
No,
Like,
I don't.
I
That's the thing. I
like
don't remember her
Tessa
accent. I
Thompson.
try and think of what she sounds like, and I can't remember it.
It's just bad.
It's not the best accent.
No.
Clearly.
Well, she's trying to sound like Thor, isn't she?
Yeah, but he does it a bit better.
Yeah, but Chris Pratt tried to do that, and that was a bit better. This is my voice.
I'm out of things to say about this. I'll be honest, guys.
I liked the film despite everything, the flaws and all. I found the things to enjoy, and I was pleasantly surprised by it.
Yeah, there's certainly stuff in here to enjoy. It's not like this is terrible. There's no effort that's been put in at all. I think there has been effort put into it, and
Yeah.
there's quite a few physical sets as well, and physical costumes, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Although there's two characters that are Monica's friends on board the Sword who are just there. They don't get any development or anything. They're just there for people to talk to.
Yes, they are. They absolutely.
I
are.
don't even know their names.
No.
Sword
no idea.
Sword Worker 1, Sword Worker 2.
They will probably cast as that. There's there are some things to like in this, and it's just such a shame that most of them are cut off at the knees, and so they're just kind of, there's seedlings of ideas and fun moments, but as a whole package, just this ain't it, man. This ain't it. We should be expecting better by this point, and I think there are some still visual flaws in this. I don't think the CG is perfect. And considering this was meant to come out in May, or was it July?
They've had a lot of time to work.
They've had a lot of extra time to do stuff on it. And I know it's a really hard job. I couldn't do it. So they've probably done the best they could with the time they had. But maybe should have had more time to cook with some of these visual effects.
Yeah.
So yeah. There's a lot of problems I have, and I just can't give it this a positive score, and I can't recommend it to people. Go and watch.
That's the thing. I said to my family, "Oh, I'm off to the cinema," and they're like, "Oh, where you going?" I'm going to see the new Marvel movie. And like, "Oh, you didn't tell us. We could have come with you." I'm like, "Oh no, it's fine." Like, I almost expected it not to be good, which is not good of me. But when I came out, I got back and they're like, "How was it?" I'm like, okay, maybe it was a good job we didn't come. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you
Like,
gave
if it came on
6.
streaming,
You just
if it
went.
came
I
on-
came in and went meh, and you gave it a 6.
If it came on streaming, I would watch it again. But I don't think I would not go and pay to watch it again.
No. Welcome back from the spoiler section. We hope you had a great time away from us for a bit. Now we're going to move on to some real cool stuff. Because Loki wrapped up. Season 2 wrapped up on Disney Plus this week as well. And we're going to go through it. So, yeah, Loki Season 2 follows on from Loki Season 1. The first season, I think we all really liked. The second season, it's
Up until a kiss.
been a couple of years in the making. I think I'm pretty sure this was meant to be one season anyway, but then because of COVID and all that, it got split into 2 seasons. And so now we've got the whole project. They've said they're not going to do with Loki Season 3. They've said the story is completely wrapped up, and I believe them. Having seen the final episode, I believe them that this is wrapped up and we're not going to get another Loki season. I think we're going to see Loki again, but I don't think we're going to get another season of this show.
I'd be happy with that as long as we see, the characters in other places.
Absolutely.
Something I can positively say about this show is that I love basically all the characters.
Yeah.
Even Casey, who's he's not in it a lot. I like him. He's a little nerd who likes Obi. He's like, "Oh, you wrote the guidebook. Can I get your signature?" Which is really cute. I want more time with these characters, and I hope it extends beyond this.
Absolutely. I would like to see some of these characters again. And I think we will in some future projects that we can talk about, maybe in spoilers. We'll get to it. But we're going to do a non-spoiler section first. going through the series and our overall thoughts. Siwan, for the past few weeks while this has been coming out, you've been recommending each episode every week. So I think it's only fitting that we start with you. What did you think of this season?
It was just so fucking good. It came out at the point where I was kind of like doubting the MCU, sort of. And like, that's a big thing for me. So I was like really worried when it was about to come out because like Loki is my favourite character also. So it was kind of like a thing that I was worried about. But it came out and it was just a relief more than anything when the first episode came out because it was just simply good. Not just simply good, it was great, it was fantastic. And it just consistently stayed great. It got better and better each episode. And it was genuinely just the nicest feeling to sit there and watch a character that I care about so much. And it was just really good TV, especially after everything that's happened with the MCU going up and down with each project. It was just nice that Loki got that story, that ending, consistently for the entire show. It never let out. Like some shows, the final episode sometimes gives out. This one didn't. And it was just nice to experience that. As much as the ending absolutely tore me apart. And like, I literally sat there and felt like, oh my god, I don't even know what to feel. It just left you feeling like, oh, that's just sad. But it was just such a good show as a whole that it was really, really a pleasure to watch in a way. And Tom, what he gives to that character, the love that he feels for that character, you can see it, you can feel it when you're watching it. And it's just really nice to see that. So I was just very, very happy with it.
Oh my god, it's so great to see Siwan so passionate. I love this. I know exactly what you mean about that first episode, though. That first episode settled me in so much because you're absolutely right. The MCU has been so up and down. You have no idea what you're going to get when you go in. Don't know whether it's going to be a banger or terrible. And so, because it is exclusively one of the two. There is no media. There is no like, oh, this is quite good. This is okay. It's either bad or good. It's a binary system right now. And that first episode, it looked incredible. Did they shoot this season on film? Because it's
grainy.
It's grainy.
It was so good.
It looks really good. And I was a little bit apprehensive about this because I knew that they changed like writers and directors, so it wasn't going to be the same as season one.
Oh,
yeah.
So I think like midway through.
No. Like... So from season to season, and I was a little bit concerned because as well that we knew this was going to be one story. It wasn't going to be two separate seasons. It was all meant to be seen together, and so to have this happen and it not only maintain the quality, but actually, I think, improve on the quality is nuts. That's really great.
Hell yeah, this is the best Marvel TV show.
Go on, Joe, carry on.
Yeah, I really liked it. I appreciated how it felt like a bit, not just like a Marvel show, but it was like a love letter to production. You know, they had to fight to get all those sets made. All the costumes and attention to detail is great. I mean, even the title sequence it feels like Doctor Who if it was in the Marvel universe, and I just loved that. I know Siwan has said a lot to me that, you know, Loki's the best character and her favorite character, and I didn't properly realize what she meant until this series. He literally is the MCU at this point. You know, you cannot have an MCU without him. I cannot imagine it. You know, so much of what's happened and what has happened and what will happen is a result of him. Like the first Thor's relationship with him, the first Avengers movie, him being the villain, stuff like that. It's great. It's really cool to see, and him coming into his own in the end, and him developing as a character. This isn't just Loki bad, blah blah blah. Blah. It's a great development for his character, and you know, to see him get on well with people, Mobius, his husband, and Sylvie, it's just really cool. The visual effects. I don't know how does this show look better than the movies? I'm really confused because this looks basically perfect. Like some of the stuff with like, I don't want to be spoilery, but stuff to do with like timelines, particularly in episode 5 and 6. spaghetti. I'll say that. That looks great. That looks really great. And I can't not talk about the score by Natalie Holt. She literally has a name that sounds like she's a classical musician. Holt. You know, the Loki theme is perfect. The music is perfect. At the time of recording, the second half of the soundtrack for the series is not out. I want it right now. I have literally rewatched scenes on Disney Plus just to listen to the music again and again and again. It's so good. And like, I don't know what happened with Obi-Wan. I think she this is just tangent. She co-wrote the music with someone, and I think he sort of overtook it, and I think she was encouraged to not go too over the top. But she goes over the top in this, and it's great. You know, she gets to do her own thing, and yeah, it's times like this where you're really happy to be an MCU fan, because all the stuff of watching all the films and all the development of Loki, it's really worth it when you get a show as good as this that treats him with a lot of respect and, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. I was one of the skeptics. Once this show was announced, I was like, why? Why on earth would they make a Loki TV show? He's dead. He dies in Infinity War. Why are we getting a TV show about this guy? I really don't care. And this is by far the best TV show on Disney Plus. Not even like, actually no, The Bear's really good. In terms of like their original content that isn't like licensed from other people, so I'm not counting The Bear because that's FX. But in terms of like the Marvel stuff, the Star Wars stuff, this is the best show they've done by far. I haven't seen Andor. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say,
but this is
Please
the best
watch
show.
Andor. I told you this the other day, Xander. Watch it.
Yeah.
Andor is like the Star Wars version of this. So like.
Oh,
yes.
I don't believe you for a second.
No,
You
but
should.
it is.
Start believing.
I believe. Yeah, no, this is really fantastic. I think all the performances are really great. And you know what? Ke Huy Quan is really great in this. And I was worried because he got cast in this. I'm like, oh right, he's just doing the round. So he's gonna do one because he's won an Oscar. He's gonna do a Marvel. He'll do a Star Wars. He'll do a DC or something. He'll do some sort of Pixar movie, and then he'll go back into purgatory, actor purgatory or whatever. But he's coming to this, and he was so good. He was so unbelievably good in this. Every time he came on screen, I was like, oh, LB's back. I like this guy. I really like him. And his name as well, Ouroboros. That is sorry, it's called Ouroboros. As soon as they said his name, I was like, it's like a circle. So then when time stuff started happening and he met these other characters that come in later, I'm like, oh, God, this is really cool. Because, like, anyway, fun time show. I just wanted a fun time show. When the first season happened, my favourite episode was the second episode where they go through different time periods and do time things. And then this whole season was mainly fun time things. And that's really great and fun. Not one else.
It's also made us care. It's also made us care about Kang. Like Quantumania, I was like, oh, he's there. I guess he's the new villain. But this is like, oh, he's a cool character. I like him.
Yeah, no, like we see more of Jonathan Majors. We knew that was coming from the trailers and the post-credit scene of Ant-Man Quantumania. And he's annoyingly really good in this. I really, really, really like his performance in this as multiple characters. Yeah, there is a lot of stuff to like here. I like the way the season was paced. I think there are a couple of things I do have an issue with it. Mainly, what's she called? Renslayer, Lorita.
Renslayer.
Tish from Doctor Who.
Yeah. I have some problems with where her story ends. Question mark. So there are issues with this that I have, but mostly a really, really top quality season of television in terms of filmmaking and storytelling. This is what the MCU can provide, and we can't forget that when we are given things like the Marvels or Quantumania that are subpar. Sure, you guys enjoyed this movie, that's fine. In terms of what I think, I can't completely check out of this because there are good things, I'm sure, on the way.
In the least entitled way possible, we should. We deserve better. You know,
yes,
we should have that. You know, if they can do this, they should always be able to do this. You know,
it's consistency. We want consistency. We don't want to walk in and be like, oh, the last one was good, so this is going to be bad. I guess that is consistency in a way, but we would like them all to be the same level of quality. Yeah, the wrong kind of consistency. Yeah, there isn't much to talk about with this without going into many spoilers. So, what would you guys give this out of 10 before we 10, go through?
11, 12, 13.
I'll take your first answer. Joe?
See, I gave it a 9 on Letterboxd because I always feel weird about giving things like full 5 stars, but I think I will up it to a 10.
I gave this 5 stars, but I'm gonna say that I rounded up from 9.5 because, like I said, there are minor problems I have, very minor, and it could be that I missed something, and you guys will fill in the gaps for me. But I do have minor problems. Right. If you haven't seen Loki season 2 and do not want to be spoiled on it, go away, watch it on Disney Plus. All episodes are now available. You'll get through the thing in an afternoon if you go quick enough. So go check that out and then come back here. If not, you can check out the description. The time codes will be down there so you can skip the spoiler section and head straight to the end. But now we're going to go into spoilers starting from now. Spoilers. Okay, so with Renslayer, right?
Yes.
Is it that they just kind of forget that she's there? Because they pick up Victor Timely in episode 4, take him away, and like her and Miss Minutes don't even come and chase after them? Or did I miss something? What do they do with them? Do they just leave them? Do they lock them in that room, and is that meant to stop them? Like, I'm confused.
I'm assuming with where she is at the end, considering she's at the Void, that she was pruned.
Yeah, do you not remember they pruned her?
Oh yes, they do.
Loki possessed Zaniac. I'll call him Zaniac. Possessed Zaniac to prune her.
She's in the Void.
Oh my god, yes, you're right. I did miss something. You're absolutely right. I did miss something. I knew I did. Because that didn't seem like a thing they just kind of miss out. But Victor Timely. What a cool character.
He's really cool.
He's so charming.
He is.
Yeah.
He just wanted his hot chocolate. He got so excited at that.
Yeah. I think the back half of this season is excellent. Excellent storytelling. 5 and 6 specifically. 6 even more specifically. Because that is the ultimate fun time travel stuff. Having to go back and keep trying to win the day. And like it's like when I lose the FA Cup final on FIFA, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll just restart the match and batter them 9-0 instead. Again.
A Fifth of Beethoven by Walter Murphy was the perfect choice of music to put in that scene as well. It fits so well.
I think all the music choices in this are really good.
Yeah.
Oh, they're fucking amazing.
One issue I have. I don't think... I'm glad it ended because I don't think I could deal with more like things online about the fact that Loki Season 2 featured McDonald's. I just don't think I could deal with that anymore. It was too much. Because all the advertising was about the fact that they were in a McDonald's in an episode. And then the episode happened and I was like, I swear to God, you better get out of that McDonald's right now. I can't deal with this. There was just too much McDonald's advertising. Like, listen, I already eat McDonald's, alright? You've already got me, alright? You already got me. Stop it. Stop trying so hard. So that was an issue I had. Just McDonald's in general. But that wasn't really an issue that would knock it down a peg.
I like... This is something I noticed, but Owen Wilson, he does this thing where he just sort... When he's, like, gets nervous, like, he just stands there and, like, he just sort of moves like that. Have you noticed that? Please say it's not just me that watches him
just
in
like
a scene.
Rolling up and down.
Like, he's just like... He just moves in one spot, and it's, like, really funny. I just find it really charming. He's just getting nervous around his husband, you know?
Yeah.
I think we forget how good of an actor Owen Wilson is.
You do.
Oh, he is...
Like, he holds up.
He's great.
He holds up?
Yeah, like, against the other actors. Like, because... You know, Owen Wilson is... You always think, oh, it's a comedy guy, and then he comes in and he matches Tom Hiddleston, and you're just like, okay.
Yeah, but that's That's because we see him in. We went through all the Wes Anderson films, and yeah, they're comedies, but they're also like they feature really great performances from people, and he's one of the mainstays in a Wes Anderson cast.
He's just so charming. I think Sylvie's the weak link again, but not as egregious as last time. I don't think.
It's nothing against Sophie DiMartino. She does it great. It's just
she's great. She's great.
The character is. I don't know. There's something about the character I can never get behind.
She's a bit too abrasive. Like let Owen Wilson talk about his key lime pie. Don't have a moan at him for talking about key lime pie. He's trying to alleviate the tension of the situation. That's what people do. They make jokes to get away from the stress of it all. That's what jokes are for. Don't tell him off. And then don't. She's a bit hypocritical in this, and it's a good job that Loki points out, like, oh yeah, you came with us, that sort of thing. So
yeah, she I think they've sort of, I think they took some spotlight off of her this season. She doesn't have as much to do here, but I think that's because there were some people that didn't like her in season 1. I feel like it's a missed opportunity to just sort of drop her out a bit. But then, towards the end of the season, like she has some really great moments in the last couple of episodes.
Like I don't
pick
think
up the
it's
pieces a bit.
This isn't meant to sound like a criticism, but all the characters in this series are important in that they change something in Loki.
Yeah.
Like Sylvie makes Loki realize, like, what do you want? Owen Wilson helps him realize in the last one, like, about choosing your burden. Everyone is there to help Loki sort of realize something about himself that he hasn't realized before, which is what friends do. They help you realize stuff. No, I know. I mean that seriously. Like, that is what they do. They help you, do stuff you didn't know you could do, and that was what they were there to do in this series. They, the series ends with Loki sacrificing himself for the whole of the universe and infinite multiverses. He would not have done that at the beginning of the series, I don't think. Which is why, because I watched this with my sister, and she said, "Oh, couldn't he have just done that from the very beginning?" No, because there's a journey to get to that point, and the characters help him on that journey to help him realise that this is what he's not meant to do, but this is what he should do. Because at the end of the day, he just wants his friends to be okay, which is such a great change for Loki as a character.
It is.
And it
feels
now,
earned.
Yeah, and now he looks over all the universes. He can look over Thor. He can see Thor.
He can hang out with Thor.
Yeah.
He can't hang out with Thor. He's stuck in the.
He can also watch. What I could have had.
He can also see Morbius and see what he's doing. I think it has something to do with Spider-Man.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's a really great ending for him, and he becomes like the god of time. That's like really cool.
He becomes He Who Remains, basically. Yeah.
God of stories. That's cool.
Well, I want to talk about Tom Hiddleston as a whole. Like his, because you can tell that he's spoken out about it before, how much he cares about Loki as a character, but you can tell that in this show how much he puts into it, just the little things he does, but like specifically the last line he has where he basically says the same thing he said in Thor, because that was him, that was something he came up with on the day, because he knew that felt right. And it's just really nice to have somebody that cares that much about a character, that he knows, right, this is what the character should say, and that it does feel right, and that everybody then reacts how they did. Because the way he says "for you, for all of us," it's what he said on the bridge just after he broke it in Thor. And for him to bring that back, but how it's changed the meaning, it just works so well, and I don't think anybody else could. Like, everybody says, oh yeah, some people were born to play a certain character. Tom Hiddleston was born to be Loki. Nobody else can be. And I don't think and it's one of those castings that's gonna go down in history as one of the best.
I'm sorry, but Richard E. Grant played Loki last season.
What, do you think he holds a torch? No offense to Richard E. Grant.
Oh, I got a big one!
I think it's also important to note that they trusted him to sort of make that choice. Like, they believe that he knows the character, so they trusted him to, like, sort of decide what he did in that scene.
Yeah.
There's a trust that goes both ways.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a really wonderful choice, and going back to Kenneth Branagh making that decision, maybe the best thing Kenneth Branagh has ever done. Sorry, Kenneth. I'm sure you've done other good things.
It was the best thing he's ever done at this angle.
Joe is tilting his head like a Dutch angle. For those who are just listening, which is all.
Oh, I didn't realise. Yeah, I didn't realise that.
Yeah, I'll be honest. There's not much really I have else to say. I really enjoyed the show, and I want to do a full rewatch and watch both seasons together and see how it holds up.
It was a good ending for a character that's been 14, 15 years in the making. And as much as it is a good ending, I'm not ready to let go of him. I do hope he comes back.
Yeah, I have a feeling. Oh, we were going to talk about Kang. Sorry, there was a quote from a higher up at Disney saying that Marvel were completely fucked with what they've done with Loki season 2 in terms of Kang, because now they have to do Kang, and it's like, actually, the ending of Loki season 2 sort of implies that you could get away with not doing Kang.
Yeah, he's up his own ass.
Because Loki's
is that just me?
Loki's gonna stop them from coming through,
and the fact that the TVA are specifically tracking them down and pruning all of them. Like, they've said, oh, we've had an encounter from this one, and it's a picture of Kang from Quantumania. So they're aware of them, and so they're sort of actively hunting them down. So there is a way to get around this if they want to, or they could just stop being idiots and recast it. It's so mind-numbingly easy. Are you guys ready to move on? Welcome back from the spoiler section. We hope you enjoyed your time away from us again. We're going to wrap up now. Before we finish, though, who wants to sell me a movie, or a TV show, or a game, or a music, or a book, if you're a nerd? Go on, Joe.
So, something that definitely got me into the TV industry, sort of like captured my interest, and something that still does, is Doctor Who Confidential. Whenever Doctor Who was on TV, series 1 to series 6, I believe, as soon as the episode ended on BBC Three, there'd be a half-hour to 45-minute segment called Doctor Who Confidential, which would cover the behind-the-scenes of the programme, looking into how it was made, you know, from scripting to broadcast. And watching that was like, that's so cool. I'd love to be a part of that. And that's sort of what kick-started my love for the TV industry. And recently, the iPlayer has got all, not only just classic Doctor Who and all that stuff, but it's got Doctor Who Confidential all added, not cut down, the full thing. Although I haven't fully rewatched them yet, I've watched a couple of episodes. I'm really excited to rewatch them to sort of remember why that kickstarted my passion for the TV industry. And I think this is a recommendation mainly for people who were probably also inspired by it. You know, go back and watch it and realise why you are where you are right now.
That's a good recommendation. I remember watching Doctor Who Confidential as a kid as well. I always thought it was really fun. And now that they're all on iPlayer, you can just go back and rewatch them. Excellent.
Binge them all.
Siwan, do you want to hit us with one?
A film I watched like 1-2 days ago was 1917. I rewatched it after not seeing it for, I don't know, a while, and it's one of those films where you're like, yeah, it's a good film, and you rewatch it and you realise why you remember that it's a good film. It's a beautifully shot film, and it's just a very good story, and I think it's a good film, basically. So I would say, if you haven't seen it in a while, or haven't just not seen it anyway, give it a watch. So 1917.
Excellent one, though. Thank you. I'm going to sell you a movie that I saw at the cinema this weekend. I saw 3 movies this weekend that were really fun. The first one, I saw The Royal Hotel, which is a movie about two American girls that go to the Australian outback to to earn some money, and they work in this seedy bar, and things get very tense. It's an exhausting movie that will have you clenching your fist the entire time, but a really cool watch. Another movie I watched was a movie called Dream Scenario with Nicolas Cage, where he becomes famous overnight after appearing in everyone's dreams.
Oh.
Really cool concept, really well made, great performance from Nicolas Cage, and perhaps my favourite fart joke of the year. But my main recommendation, no context given, no context, Joseph.
I will probably never find out the answer to it either.
My main recommendation for this week is a movie I've heard a lot about all year, and I finally got around to watching. I watched Bottoms. Oh my goodness, what a movie. I absolutely loved this. It's so weird, like this heightened high school universe that they put themselves in is so funny and strange and weird, and I just love this sort of stuff that's like sort of just off kilter a bit. I haven't laughed this much in the cinema since I went to watch Booksmart back in 2019, and that movie was so funny. I thought that was one of my favorite comedies of the last decade, and this is right up there for me. One of my favorite needle drops of the year as well, mainly because I love the song, but like that's a whole other thing. All the performances are great, and all the characters have these individual quirks that lets them stand out for like at least one moment in the movie, and all the characters are so heightened and bizarre. I think the writing is razor sharp. It's so funny that there's a giggle every second in this movie, and I think Ayo Edebiri and Rachel Sennett are two of the best comedic actors we've got right now. Their chemistry is off the charts, and they're such great comedic performance. Ayo Edebiri as well. If you haven't seen her in The Bear, watch The Bear. It's so good. And a special shout out to me for the football players in the movie. Their whole vibe is incredible. I love it. I absolutely love their aura in the movie. It's really great. So absolutely, if you have not yet, go and check out Bottoms. It is fantastic, and it's one of my favorites of the year, and it will be in my top 10 list at the end of the year. Right, that'll do it. Thank you so much for listening. Next week, Joe's taking the lead. Oh. Joe, do you want to tell them what next week is, or?
Okay, I completely forgot about this. I secretly didn't. I've been thinking about it non-stop. Next week is a very special edition of the Film Me In podcast. We will be filming you in Doctor Who style for its 60th anniversary. Literally 2 days, 2 days after the first 60th anniversary special of Doctor Who comes out, 27th. We will be pitching Doctor Who movies with some of our favourite actors, characters, creatures, monsters, and creating plots of our own. And we're going to have a really fun time. It's going to be amazing. So, yeah, you better be there for our next episode. Even if you're not a Doctor Who fan, stay tuned because it's going to be a good one.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you so much for listening this week. Make sure you're following us on Instagram to see the amazing post that I'm sure Joe will make next week. And make sure you're following us on Twitter as well. Joe, thanks for being here. Where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Cook11Joseph, YouTube Rebel Whovian, Instagram Joe Cook _digital artist, where I'm currently doing a load of Doctor Who artwork. So do give me a follow, and you can find me on Letterboxd, which should be Joseph Cook or Joe Cook. And if you can't find that, go on Xander or Siwan's Letterboxd page, and they're about to plug that actually.
Yes, they are. Siwan, thank you for being here. Where can the people find you?
Well, there's my Instagram and my Twitter at Siwan01, but I don't post much. But I do post shockingly often on my letterbox, which is C1Os, and yes, you can find Joseph and Xander in my following.
And you can find me on Letterboxd as well. It's at the real Xander LW. Go and check that out and see my reviews. I put some real thought and effort into them, as do Joe and Siwan.
Thank you.
Yes, we do, Xander.
Next week, keep your eyes peeled for that really special episode. Joe will be hosting, so don't be alarmed if you hear a different voice. And,
if you hear a few voice breaks as well.
And if you hear
all part of the plan. All part of the
exactly. All part of the plan.
Part of the plan.
Thank you so much for listening this week. We will see you next week. Goodbye.
Adios.
Yeah, no.